September of 2011. We went down to Honduras with the Mama Project, which is a nutrition clinic that we go to different towns and do clinics on nutrition. And as we were coming back from the one village, we stopped at this orphanage being built to drop off one of our interpreters, Lorene. And as we dropped her off, she was telling us a little bit about this orphanage that has been in progress for a long time, but needs help to get done. And so we said, hey, could we pray for the orphanage? As we were laying our hands on the orphanage and praying for people to come and help out with the orphanage, God spoke to my heart and He says, you're praying for someone to come and do the orphanage. What about you? What about you? And that really hit my heart, and I just couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it. And so as time went on, we got in contact with Lorene, and then I pulled together a trip with Kyle Martin, and we went down to Honduras to check out this orphanage to see what we could do for them. The orphanage was actually started to be built back in 2004, but even before that, 8 years prior to that, Amelia, who is the one doing this project, started raising money, and she put on she did different fundraising activities to raise money for this orphanage. So she's been since 1996 been raising money and doing whatever she could to get money together to build this orphanage, because she feels that God has truly called her to build this orphanage. And as we got to meet Amelia, we really seen the heart of Amelia, the heart of the lady who is doing this. She's not even looking for freebies, gratitude, but she's glad when they come. But she's got a great heart, great heart. But when they started building in 2004, they had their groundbreaking. All that was on this property was one little garage. And so they had the groundbreaking, and a lot of the community people came together to help build the orphanage. The orphanage is kind of like the mama house of the community. People can come there and they know that they can get help there. While Kyle and I were there on our to check out the orphanage, people would stop by the window, and Amelia would get them a little food to send them along on their way. She's always there to help, and the community knows it. But she's not afraid to work, and she put pitches right in there. She's helping mix cement, and whatever needs done, she's willing to be right in there helping them. They have to make everything on site. They don't buy anything. Well, they get the cement and the sand in, but all the masonry work that you see in all these pictures, by hand. They mix everything by hand. They get the floors all ready and then pour all this area, 3 stories high, all this area by hand. And so it takes a lot of work. The kids from the community came out and helped too. Now they couldn't do a lot of work, but Amelia loves children. And as these kids came out, she would feed them. And they also do a summer Bible school for the community. The tile work in this place, it's amazing. That's one of the things that first caught my eye when I looked through the window of the orphanage when we first got there. Amelia is very wise with money and very frugal. And she buys this broken tile and puts it together. And when we looked at the tile work, the thing that hit our hearts was broken tiles discarded by people put together like this makes beauty. And it is a beautiful thing, the way as you see pictures of this tile. And it made us think, as an orphanage, that these kids will be coming here. They're broken. They come from broken families, broken homes, and yet they can be beautiful. And that's what the orphanage is all about. They even have a little place out back for cooking outside and just get together outside that they have built. Again, everything done by hand. So here they'll wash their clothes by hand, everything by hand, and it's a lot of work, and they do a lot of work there, as you can see from this back view, that hanging out the wash, everything. It's just they're working from sun up to sundown, and that's neat to see. The bathrooms at the orphanage, there's only one really completed on the first floor, and they're planning to have 2 on the first floor, boys, girls, and then they're also going to have a bathroom on each floor for the girls' floor, second floor, and the boys' floor on the third floor, so they each have their own bathroom. And upstairs on the third floor, there's a whole section designated to a library. It's going to be their library meeting type room. And so the whole building is well planned out. She has it all figured out of where things are going to be. The kitchen, they put a bigger kitchen out the back, and the bigger kitchen, they built their own stove. They cook on wood, and the stove they built is big enough to handle making food for a lot of people. But on the left-hand side of this picture of the kitchen, we're going to be putting an L-shaped kitchen cabinets in there for her. And the interesting part with that is we're going to use some of the wood that she has on the property, because we're trying to watch all the pennies that we can. But so she already has some lumber there that we're going to utilize making her own kitchen. And so she's going to probably have a mahogany kitchen. Pretty cool, ain't it? And a lot of the bathrooms are like that other bathroom that we just seen. That's the only one that's really done. All the other ones are very, very rough. They're not plastered or anything yet, and so they need a lot of work. I'm not even starting to think about that yet, because there's so many other projects that we'd like to get done first. The biggest project that needs done, the thing that we need to do first, is electric. They have a very little panel box in this place, and all the electric is run from 2 breakers, and they have extension cords running throughout the building. And so the boxes are there, the tubes are there to run the wiring is to the building, the power's to the building, but we need to run the electric. And so that's going to be one of our first and biggest projects to do, is get all the electrical wiring done. And that will help them out greatly. I mean, they put a lot of thought and effort into this. They have a schematic, as you can see, of the electric, and it's not a blueprint, it's not a drafted schematic. It's sit down with a pen and a ruler and make your own schematic. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a challenge, but we'll be able to figure it out. The area we're in is up in the mountains, and there's no flat ground. And so they actually dug out of the bank and moved the dirt over and put it on the left-hand side, took it from the right, put it on the left, and just to make a flat playground for these children. And so now they have a soccer field. And the kids come from town almost every day. They'll come and play soccer here, or hang out at the orphanage and just kick the ball around and stuff. But this is a big thing for them. Amelia has it figured out that they can raise their own food. Amelia she says, we don't want to just be an orphanage taking care of children. We want to teach them and train them to be able to plant the food, raise the food, harvest the food, make the food, preparing it, the whole thing. And so on the property they have a banana grove. They have corn and beans. They plant the corn and beans together. Every available space is raising food. Even in the yard, they have tropical fruits, tropical plants growing that for food. Wherever they can they're putting food in. And I think that's a very neat aspect. It's not just raising the children, but training the children in how to live and survive. While we were down in Honduras, we went into town to make some copies of some things, of documents that I wanted to bring along back. And so we went to the municipal building, and while there we got to meet the mayor of the community, the mayor of the town. And he was very glad to meet us, and he's very supportive of the orphanage. The mayor is so behind the orphanage and in support of it that he actually donated 2 hours of bulldozer work to recut the road that goes to the back end of the orphanage property. And I thought that was very interesting. We were looking for things that would prove the orphanage is legit. The orphanage is really, it's not just a scam or something like that, but this is proving to me that the orphanage is legit, and the people in the area, the community, are for it and behind it. And Amelia is instrumental in getting water supply to a community that's between her and the bigger town. They never had water or electric, and they got together and built this water tower. And the mayor also donated some stuff for this water tower. But the community pulled together, built a water tower, and Amelia had the ditch dug from up in the mountains to bring the water down. So now we have 2 communities that have water and electric because of Amelia's efforts to get this orphanage up and running. And I think that speaks for itself. Is the orphanage legit? It surely is. Every afternoon at 4 o'clock, they have a church service on the front porch. And you have community people stopping in for this church service. And like I said before, they do a Bible school in the summertime. And they're really interested, not just in meeting physical needs in the area, but Amelia is very interested in meeting the spiritual needs of the people around, the people that they're come in contact with. Here's a group. This group is from Honduras Childhood and Family Institute, and they came to the orphanage to see what it was all about, and they were excited. They seen the building, they heard the story. Amelia has an awesome testimony of how God led her to do this orphanage. And this group of people came, and they've given their approval for the orphanage. And they're just waiting now to place kids until the orphanage is done. Maybe you're not able to go along on a mission trip, but I really hope that you can, because it changes your life. When you go on a mission trip, when you see how the rest of the world lives, it changes your life. But even if you can't go on a mission trip, there's a breakdown of all the projects. Maybe you can pick a part of a project and help sponsor it that way. However you can help. But if you can go along on a trip, that would be awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing you.